Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. Subscribe if you haven't yet already, hit the bell button to get an alert. Today's video is this look. I'm using some of the Laura Mercier Caviar sticks, and it's not very autumnal. It's about an episode that I'm not very excited about. It's about Stranger Things, The Lost Sister, and I have a decent amount to say, but not too much to say. I don't know. Not excited about this episode, but I have faith that it's gonna get better. So, if you'd like to see how I got this look and have a little bit of a discussion about Stranger Things, The Lost Sister, please keep watching. All right, I've already moisturized and SPF'd. I'm now gonna go in with my MAC Paint Pot in Painterly. This episode was annoying because we only have 9 episodes this season, and this episode felt not pointless, but it certainly felt like a waste of valuable time to me. And I don't think I'm alone in thinking that. So before I jump into I'll zoom you in to show you my eyes. I'm just not excited about this because I'm not excited about the episode, but I'll zoom you in. Wonder if I've waited. I saw this, I watched this episode about a week ago, and I'm just not motivated about it, but it's an episode. So going in with I am motivated about my makeup. This is one of the new, I don't think this is new, I think this is old, but this is one of the Laura Mercier Caviar sticks. This is an Amethyst. I'm gonna put it all over my lid. There's a set that came out, oh, that's pretty. It's not making up for this episode, but it's pretty. I think that this is released everywhere that you can buy Laura Mercier. It's a set of 4 that came out this holiday season. All right, so I have opinions about it, and a lot of my opinions are similar to what I'm reading in, specifically what I read most recently is in the AV Club. There's a woman named, and I'll link it down below, named Emily Stevens. And this article resonated with me in a lot of ways, and I'll just point out some of the things that she said while I go in with my Urban Decay Ultimate Basics set with Tempted and a large brush. So one of the things that she says is that the Lost Sisters' greatest and only triumph lies in anchoring a sense that Elle too can find a home with a chosen family. And so what that means for me is, I mean, there are a lot of places that she's showing up that people are calling home for her. And she keeps saying home, and none of these places are really home. And I think that maybe that's what it is that she really finds where she needs to be. And that's where we find her in the end of the episode. I'm gonna go in with the small half of this Real Technique strobing brush with Magnet, which is interesting because of Poles and Hawkins. So I think that probably if she hadn't gone to Chicago, she maybe wouldn't have realized how much her home really was back in Hawkins. So that makes sense, yeah? Then I'm gonna go in with Rose Gold just on my inner corner. And that's pretty. And subtle. Oh my God, now I'm thinking about the makeup montage, which was a little painful. Okay, Tom Ford Eye Defining Pen. So I'm just gonna read a couple of things that talk about a couple of things that she's saying before I jump back into this. So she is looking at an article that the Duffer Brothers did with Entertainment Weekly, and apparently what Ross Duffer said to Entertainment Weekly is, we're going to continue to do risks moving forward to keep us on our toes, and that was in reference to this episode. And what this writer says, Emily Stevens, is it's not the risk that makes The Lost Sister such a failure. The risk, the sheer daring of plunging Elle into a chaotic new environment, and the chance to introduce her to a mentor who understands both her gift and her isolation, just makes the lost opportunity more devastating. And I agree with that. She goes on to say that the episode serves obvious functions. It opens the door for a return for Kali, who we saw in the first episode. And some of the other things that she talks about are, you know, the idea that there are other children that came out of this lab, and what are their varied abilities. So we've seen now that Kali and Elle have very different abilities. But they're saying that Kali, and I agree, is not a rounded character. I really liked the character, and it would have been great to see more from that character, but we just saw so little from that character. And I don't know that it was enough for us to really be able to kind of find something to hold on to with her. Her friends are really annoying. All of them are really annoying. The dialogue was really annoying. What the writer says is that she came of age in and around, and I also did too, a punk scene. And I know how committed to a counterculture appearance people can be. I know that a covert team of killers targeting members of a highly classified, murderously secretive government agency should find a way to disguise that appearance for the actual hit. You would think that if they're showing up, they would be wearing a disguise more than the mask. So she says this too, and I agree, that they look less like an actual gaggle of punks and more like an artist's rendering of a, quote, gaggle of punks. And she says, watching the premiere, I trusted that their flamboyance would be justified or at least lampshaded. I was wrong. And the other thing, and I think this is also in the same Entertainment Weekly article that she's referencing, I guess that Ross Duffer said that just like Skywalker, Elle needed to go off onto her own and learn something about herself. And that makes sense, especially because she's, you know, of that age. She's an adolescent and she needs to learn about herself. And that's just, it's a trope whether you're supernaturally gifted or not. But so it makes sense that she would be going on her own. And she, meeting Kali was important, I think, because it made her otherness seem less other, because she's not the only, like, confirmed now. We know she's not the only. We know that there's someone else who has a similar origin story. And she learns that she can't kill for vengeance. The man who hurt her mother, and also we see hurt Kali, that she can't do that for vengeance. And so that's something important for her to learn about herself. It's still indirect. It's hard to say if she would be able to kill if she was avenging someone attacking her personally, or if she was avenging someone hurting someone that she's close with. I get that she feels this connection to her mother, literally a connection with her mother, because she has this thing with her mother that literally, not just that this is the person who gave birth to her, like we all have a connection with our mother that we don't have with anybody else in the world. But beyond that, she has this connection with her because of this shared headspace that they have, and the fact that they both are able to go to this kind of psychic place where they can be together and communicate with each other, and that Terry's able to communicate with Elle and she can't communicate with anybody else in the world. So all of those things are true. And she's learning more about her own power, although we see this at the beginning of, it's subtle, but we see this at the beginning of the episode, and I'm just about to launch into my own kind of summary and critique of the episode. But we see this at the beginning of the episode when she is at the Ives home, and all she's doing is looking at a picture of Kali. She's not, doesn't have a blindfold on. She's not doing, see, this is what happens when I'm talking about this episode. This episode's so annoying. But I'll fix it. I'll fix it, I will. So, and it's not even very autumnal. I apologize for not doing, I thought that it was going to be more purple, but just all a little bit lackluster. Sorry for that. So, yeah, the makeup was just painful, and especially because I get that they would want to get her out of her. I think that we can establish that this group of punks does look like a costumer who has never known a punk in his or her life, trying to costume people to look like that. Doesn't look like anyone who I've ever known. But I do get that getting her out of her overalls, just in general, from a distance, she looked like she was different from them. So I get that changing her clothes and everything is important, but the makeup is pointless, especially because they put a mask on her. I guess it's to make her feel more punk rock, but you did. All right. So the two things that I'll say before I kind of launch into my own thoughts about it are the things that I think are the most compelling about the episode are the flashbacks that we see to the first season when she was in Hawkins, in the lab and in the town. Also when we see her in kind of the place but seeing Hopper talk to her. That I think is very compelling. And I think that what this episode for me does is really puts a finer point on the fact that she belongs back in Hawkins with her friends. And the other thing is, like, why do we need this episode at all? I do wish there'd been more with Kali. I love their exchanges with each other. They're just so few and far between. I feel like I don't know if it was the writing or the people who were cast in the roles of those other kind of people in that group were just not good. But I liked them alone when they were talking. And I think that the biggest takeaway for me is what we find out in the end when she's on the bus, which is that her home is back. She's learned about the things that are really important to her. Having some distance from those things, having some distance from Hopper, having some distance from Hawkins, certainly having had a lot of distance from Mike. She's already had distance from Mike. but she's physically been away from Hawkins for a while now. And she has seen Mike. She saw Mike in that dream space in the lab when he was running to warn everyone that it was a trap. So maybe what she's really learning is having the contrast between where she is and Hawkins, that maybe this really is her family back in Hawkins. So, all right. So we open the episode up. Sorry for the long intro, but it just feel like this article said a lot of the things that I was thinking. So I wanted to jump into that a little bit and give this person credit. And I will put it in the description box down below too, because she was saying a lot of the things that I was feeling. So we open it up and we are at the Ives home. I'm also wondering if the lost sister possibly also refers to Terry, because she's kind of lost too. But we started out, and as I said before, that Elle is now able to see things, see people without, or maybe she puts on that, I don't know, maybe she puts on the blindfold to go into that kind of nether region. I don't know if maybe that's not where she's seeing Kali, but it does seem like her powers are growing, and they definitely grow when she moves the container, the train container thing, and doesn't totally lose all of her power, because she was losing a lot of power last season. I'll back you out a little bit. All right, under eyes. So she realizes where, she sees a group of pictures from Becky, and then she realizes who it is, and she starts focusing on the picture, and she ends up finding 8. Becky's on the phone. I think she was on the phone with the police, but you can't be sure. The person on the phone, when she said, she asked for confirmation for the person's name, and the person said, she repeated it as Florence. So it probably was Flo, but it could have been somebody from Hawkins and whatever. So then Elle hears this, and she ends up stealing money from her purse and leaving. And that's how she ends up going to Chicago. And then as Elle is leaving, Terry's watching TV, and there's like a Channel 8 special news report coming up with the number 8 on it. And she's saying the rainbow, breathe, rainbow, sunflower, 3 to left, 4 to the right, 450. Then we're in Chicago, and they're playing Bon Jovi Runaway, which is just a little too spot on for me. And I don't know. I just can't. So they're playing Bon Jovi, She's a Little Runaway, because she's a little runaway. And then she finds the group, and then they kind of realize that they're family, and they have this family connection, and then they're going to do a job tomorrow because Elle has the ability to kind of find these people. And then Elle's in the dream place, and this is where she sees Hopper at the kind of screen at Hawkins, where she sees kind of Mike coming in saying that it's a trap. She's seeing that, and she realizes how much in trouble they are. And then we learn, as it's a nice transition where Kali is waking her up. She's waking her up from this dream that she's having where she's seeing Hopper. And then they're talking about this thing that they're gonna do, and Elle says that she's killed, she's a fighter. And then they're outside, and Kali is making her focus her anger, which is, is great that she's learning something, but it's just annoying. And I do believe that they're going after these people because they've done bad things. I think that they are kind of like vigilantes for a cause. I get that they're all broke and they need to kind of steal from these people, and I don't think they're just after people because of being violent or because of wanting to steal from them. Rimmel Stay Matte Powder. Then they're gonna go find Ray, and then while they're doing the makeover, they're playing Dead Injustice by the Runaways, which is just, it's a good song, but it's such a painful scene, and it hurts me to hear this song during that scene. And yeah, why are they putting makeup on her if she's gonna be wearing a mask anyway? They rob the gas station. This also doesn't make any sense to me. It's clearly an independent gas station. And they go in, and Kali, fools him, and his toilet stopped up and everything, and then they're robbing it of goods and of money. I do appreciate that the girl in the gang was stealing Tampax. That was a nice detail. But yeah, when Kali is focusing her energy on him and trying to get him to not call the police and not shoot them because he has a gun, Kali says, "We're only stealing from the war criminals who own this place." And it does not look like a big chain gas station. So maybe that was licensing. Maybe they couldn't make it be like a recognizable chain, but I think it's weird that it seems like they're stealing from this guy. And she says they're insured, and yeah, they are, but it's still, ugh. And if she can, I don't know, change his memories, just hope he's not walking away from that terrified and scared. And then we end up at Ray's house, and before they go into Ray's house, this was a nice touch. Everyone drinks Schlitz on this show. Not sure what's happening with that, but everyone is. So he's drinking Schlitz and he's watching Punky Brewster, which I verified did seem like it was later in the 80s, earlier in the 90s when it was on, but it premiered in 84. So that's accurate. And it's kind of sad that he's like sadly watching Punky Brewster drinking by himself. I appreciated that piece of his character, but they come in and Holly and Elle do this kind of mind thing with him where they're like, you know, do you remember us? And he doesn't remember them as adults, but he does remember them as kids. And NARS Velvet Matte Lip Pencil and Cruella. So he does remember them when they show themselves as little kids. And he says he was only following orders and all of that. And he then says, I can help you find Brenner. He's alive. He's trying to kind of bargain. Not sure if that's true or not. And Elle is strangling him. And then she pulls away and stops strangling him. And then they realize that there are kids in the room and the kids have dialed 911. So she actually stops strangling him before they realize about the kids. And that's important, that she didn't just stop it because she realized that there were kids there. She stopped it because she thought it was wrong. And then Elle stops Collie from killing Brenner, and Collie's pissed about it. And then they're back at the loft, which is another, they're back at the loft. And they have another nice exchange where Collie says, I was just like you, I see you in my past mistakes, and you know that she went to the rainbow room and that Elle wasn't there, and then she, you know, as soon as she could, she escaped, and she ended up with a family or people kind of like Hopper, but different. And basically, you're not trapped here. You can leave whenever you want to, but you're faced with the same choice to face the man that calls himself your father. And then she makes Brenner appear, which I think is just messed up because I'm not sure. I don't know if Collie really believes that Brenner's alive. It seems really manipulative if she doesn't. But I do like the scenes with them together. And then she starts having these flashbacks. She's sleeping. We don't realize this yet. But of Hopper and the people that she loves in Hawkins, and then remembering the whole thing about it being a trap. This is the place that I was, and it's a damn graveyard. Mike, I need to get through it. It's a trap. And the booms in her dream, in the kind of in-between place, the dream place, there's like the Demogorgon booming, and the booming of that, which I do appreciate this, the scene, next scene is the Batarang coming through as the cops are showing up at the place. And I appreciate that consistency of scene transition. So then this is a scene, and I do like this, where Collie is convincing the cops that no one's there with her brain. And then they're leaving, trying to run away from everything, and Elle has to run away, and Collie says, they can't save you, the people in Hawkins. And Elle says, no, but I can save them. And I think that they can save her. They can save her on the within side. I think that they have maybe less superpowers than she does, but it's about more than that. And then Collie makes this really elaborate wall thing go up, and finally Elle gets away and she's on a bus. There's a nice transition with her on the bus, the juxtaposition of her on the bus and Collie looking out of the van window, rushing away. I like the nice woman that comes up next to Elle on the bus where she says, I'm going to my friends, I'm going home. And then the closing song, I appreciate. The closing song is Whisper to a Scream, parenthetically Birds Fly by Icicle Works. And I'd never really had listened to the lyrics of this song before, but I looked it up and I'll read a little bit to you and then I'll let you go. So the lyrics beginning are, love comes down upon us and it flows like water, burning with the hope of insight. Feathered books and colors of the bright elation stolen in the sight of love. We are just children. Finding our way around indecision. We are rather helpless. Changes forever, whisper to a scream. Birds fly in the eyes of the pathos daughter, spoken at the bitter end. Wasted, sacrificed for the new nirvana. Nighttime sends the sun away. So I have hope at the end of this episode, and actually reading that is giving me chills because it does seem to resonate with what's happening with the show. The music got better in the end, or it got more appropriate. I love the Runaways, and the Bon Jovi was hard. and just too spot on. But I appreciate this. I'm pointing to it over there, what I was reading. And I have faith that things are going to turn around in the next couple of episodes. We have 2 more left. So thank you so much for watching. There's a lot to do in the world and a lot to do on YouTube. And I'm sorry if this was a little bit less enthusiastic than the others, but I'm just being honest that I'm less enthusiastic about this episode than I was about the others. So fingers crossed that it gets better. And I'll see you again very soon. Bye.